Hopefully the audio is back, and if it is, you know who it is. It's your boy, More Than a Conqueror, MTAC, back at you again on another journey to truth and light, where we utilize the power of truth, the word of the Most High, to be set free from the chains of deception. Now, a lot of times when I or anyone else mention truth, they're speaking of their own or man's concept of truth. But there's only one solid truth, and that is the word of the Most High. Anything outside of that is not truth. It is not the truth. If it goes against the word of the Most High, you're not operating in truth. And today's video, we're going to talk about the truth of the surveillance that is happening against the righteous. Yes, people are watching you. Demons are watching you. Fallen angels are watching you. But most of all, the Most High is watching you too. And so we're going to discuss it in the live stream. And I'm hoping that this live stream will be a very interactive one. Uh, Discussing how the wicked is secretly spying on and plotting against us. That is right. Uh, Unbeknownst to the average person who's convoluted with the ills of life, there are entities on this earth that are specifically here to throw you off your path, throw you off your destiny, to capture your purpose and prevent you from fulfilling what you were planted in the earth to manifest. And every last soul, regardless of uh, your background, where you're from, your nationality, none of that stuff matters. Every last soul that was created from the Most High, and as the prophet Jeremiah so eloquently put it in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 4, you were born with a purpose. Before you was born in that body, you already existed in the spiritual realm. We already existed in the spiritual realm. And the purpose of you being manifested in the flesh was to not only experience life choices and to become a better version of yourself in spirit, but to also manifest the Most High's purpose here on this earth. And what is his purpose? What is his purpose? A lot of people say, they complicate it and so forth, but I'm going to sum it up for you and simplify it. Christ, in Christ's words, he said, his purpose is that his will, his heavenly spiritual will, be manifested in the physical earth as it is in his heavenly kingdom. So his purpose for each and every last one of us is to manifest kingdom principles, his spiritual righteous kingdom order and a family of love and truth and growth and uh, prosperity and productivity and so forth, being progressive. That's what he wants for each of us. And each of us have talents. We have unique gifts and proclivities that the Most High has. Um, he has endowed us with these things in our spirit. They're in our core makeup of our spirit, our core character. When he decided to make you, he knew exactly what gifts it would take, what tools, so to speak, you needed in order to manifest those gifts in this earth realm to produce his will. here. And so the enemy, the opposition, the ops, as they say in the street, what they um, want to prevent is you from coming into that knowledge, into knowledge of the Most High's purpose and what part you play in the whole plan, the whole scheme of his kingdom will here on earth. That's it. That's simple as it can get. And what do they do? How do they prevent it? Well, just like any other sinister, sadomasochistic, psychotic, cluster B narcissistic mindset, which they all are, the demonic beings, they observe, they study, they recountenance, they use lies, manipulations, deceptions, trickery. The enemy got a bottomless bag of trick. Well, I'll take that back. He got no new tricks, but he got a lot of tricks. Let's just put it that way. He's got a lot of tricks, and he's got a lot of things that he's been working on since our inception, since our birth. He's already planning, and the scriptures tells us that we're going to pull out a few scriptures today and just allow the Holy Spirit to lead us into a new profound understanding of what we're up against in this spiritual warfare. If you don't know that you're in war, you're already losing the battle. You may have the victory in Christ, but until you wake up and realize that there is a spiritual warfare, that Michael, Christ, and all of us who's with him are at war against the dragon. Now, victory's already been given to us in the spiritual realm where there is no time, but in this earth realm where time is an element and factor of life, then guess what? We experience the battle as it unfolds in chronological orders. And so going back to my initial point is before you were born, the scriptures give details that the enemy was already waiting to consume the man-child before it was birthed on the earth. Consume the child before it was birthed on the earth. And that's in the book of Revelations chapter 12. And we see that even in the book of Exodus, where the governments, the world's supreme elite powers, which are the same ones that exist today, the fallen angels, the so-called satanic elite, the higher up echelon oligarchy, whatever you want to call them, those that do seances, rituals, child sacrifice, pedophilia, all of that. They take you up on the high mountain like they did Christ, and they offer you all the facets and shiny things of the world, fortune, fame, well, in Moses' days, in the book of Exodus, before Moses was born, they knew he was coming with a purpose. They knew he was being sent. Someone was going to be sent to manifest the Most High's will for the salvation of Yah's people at that time, and they were taking no chances. So what did they do? They genocided all male babies, which means Moses or Moshe in the Hebrew would have unlikely been around Pierce's age of his nationality, because they were all killed off. Sound like my story and many of the other so-called Afro-American, which are truly Israelites of the diaspora, because a lot of my peers, they were genocided by the same satanic elite government. It just came in a different way. In Moses' days, they threw them in the Nile River, and they allowed the alligators to partake in the genocide and destruction of a generation. In my days, they use the war against the war against drugs. They used the war against crime, and they funneled drugs into our community. Um, Violence they promoted, whether it was through the music, whether it was through stacking us in ghetto projects. I'm from the projects, by the way, but uh, long story short is like most of my peers, they were consumed by the dragon, the same dragon beast Babylonian system that consumed Moses' generation, the men in Moses' generation, the people in Moses' generation. They use alligators then, threw them in the Nile. In my era, guess what? They used cocaine, crack, and uh, industrial corporate prisons and things of that nature in order to destroy a lot of our generation. I can't count how many uh, peers that before I even turned 18 ended up dead on drugs or some other in prison, some other ailment. You know what I mean? So the enemy, he's always watching and he's always plotting and planning. How can he destroy the righteous collectively and individually? You know, during Christ's days, it was the exact same storyline. He said, hey, you know what? There's a purpose coming in the earth. We see the star, we see the signs in the sky, and we can discern that the Most High is fed up and he's getting ready to manifest someone into the earth to fulfill his kingdom will and purpose in the earth realm. And so they started genociding again, that generation. You read the book of Jasher, I can't remember what chapter right off the top of my head, around the 17th, 15th chapter. Uh, Abraham went through the same thing underneath the Nimrodian Babylonian Empire, watching, surveillancing always as the enemy against the righteous. And these aren't my words. I'm going to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 37, and we're going to allow the scriptures to pull it out. So, yep. So the book of Proverbs, and I done went way past it, way past it. I do apologize. It just feels a little bit different when I'm using a different set of scriptures. I got to get used to this one. And no wonder why I couldn't find it. Actually, it's the book of Psalms, chapter 37. I believe around verse 32. Like I said, sometimes my carnal mind can't hold it all. This is a vast message that was given to the prophets and the apostles unto us. And sometimes I can hit it spot on, but the main thing is knowing what the scriptures say, having it written on the tablets of your heart. But it says this: the wicked watch, they surveillance, they counterintelligence who? The righteous, people who's doing the right thing. For what purpose? Seeking to slay him. Always seeking to slay your character, seeking to slay your relationships, your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations. The enemy want all that destroyed. And living in the age of technology, uh, it's apparent that things are a little bit more. what's the word that I want to use? Complex than they were back then, you know. So in today's time, the enemy have gone into hiding. They've ensconced themselves and disguised themselves into organizations with authority in Satan's system. What is Satan's system? We know what it is, right? There you go. The United States of Babylon. And the only reason why I'm wearing these is because I had nothing else, and these were swimming trunks from years ago, by the way. So, but I put them on, and people think that I'm about to go vote or something. It's crazy. Nope. So the enemy, not only surveillance, but is constantly plotting against the righteous at all times. And today, it's done through legislations. It's done through the auspices that it's necessary for community safety and national security. It's done underneath the OSHA workplace and mental health laws, etc. And so we're familiar, if you've been following this channel for any length of time, with the MK Ultra. We're familiar with the COINTELPRO counterintelligence and the history of diabolical acts that's been performed underneath autonomy and secrecy of our alphabet government sectors, talking CIA, FBI, etc. So their MO is that of their father. What is their father good at? Not only watching, but psychologically manipulating. We call that psychological warfare. So psychological warfare operations, along with the deceptions. Remember, the enemy was a deceiver from the beginning. And what else? Electromagnetic anti-personal, meaning they don't have to get close to you in order to inflict harm and pain and torture. And many targeted individuals for years been called crazy because of the fact that they are victims of frequency weapons. Now, if you're not someone that can invest into a frequency weapons detector, like this is just a very simple one, then guess what? You're not going to be able to tell or prove, rather, whether or not you are under attack. The enemy wants to not only commit atrocity, but they want to get away with it. This is the Masonic secrecy, or the what they call the white glove treatment, so to speak. But these psychological warfare operations, deceptions, and new age weapons that utilize microwave and electromagnetic frequencies, such as 5G, they are definitely being carried out here in the United States by FBI, Department of Homeland Security, CIA, NSA, Department of Defense, and of course, it's the Department of Justice, which authorize all of this. Yep, the Department of Justice, where you are seeking due process, you're seeking, a fair trial, and making sure that the laws of Constitution are being enacted for your protection. They're one of the enemy's main hubs. In one of his cesspool, the Department of Justice has become a cesspool in the United Snakes of America. But through the spreading of lies, slander, libel, and defamation, they are able to convince, along with illegitimate, wrongful court authorizations, they're able to convince people in communities, business, schools, churches, mosques, etc., that you are under investigation as someone who's suspected to be an extremist, mentally unstable, someone who possibly is part of some sort of crime, etc. It's the cover up, it's the disguise, because the average human being, if they have an inkling, an ounce of humanity in them, they're going to want to know why someone would carry out such acts against an individual in secrecy. But we know that Satan's objective is literally to COINTELPRO style, like Jezebel, which you can read about in the book of Kings. Character assassinate, COINTELPRO counterintelligence, character assassinate, manipulate, destruction, blacklisting, sabotage your life. They attempted to do that by throwing a fraudulent claim onto my CDL recently, and it gave me a back set, but the Most High is in charge of my life overall. So I'm at peace. Torture, murder campaigns. It's fully intended. What do the enemy want to do? He wants to fully destroy your life. He wants to fully destroy your life. That's what the enemy wants to do. And with the technologies, with the complexities of national security apparatuses, they've been given the power with the fusion centers to run not just here in America, but global horrendous campaigns of torture and murder. That's what they're here for. Also, not only the technology, but the biochemical viral warfare. A lot of targets have been induced with sicknesses that aren't natural. They're concocted in laboratories. As a matter of fact, viruses and certain bacterial ailments aren't even a natural part of the Most High's pestilence and plagues and things of that nature. They are literally concoctions of the enemy. The enemy's always plotting, whether they're going to Wuhan or whatever the case may be. They are always in the laboratory watching and plotting against the righteous. These are truths, these are facts. And so now it's 2024 and we are in the age of technology. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, artificial intelligence, satellite surveillance, etc., which is the mark of the beast, sign of the beast. We're going to the book of Daniel, chapter 7. I don't see anyone on live stream, but oh well. I'm going to get it out, and whoever it's for, they'll get it. Whether from me or somebody else, the Most High will make sure you get the message. He will always make sure that his children get the message. So I do my part. If the enemy hinders by shadow banning or not sending out notifications, I'm not concerned, because the Most High always has another ram in the bush to get his message across to his children. So in the book of Daniel chapter 7, it's describing end time events. And I'm not going to go through the entire thing because I know your patience needs work as well as mine, but I'm going to just drop down where it talks about the last beast system, this last world empire, which is currently on the scene. This Euro-American system that rules in the likeness of ancient Rome. And so, starting at verse 17, it reads, "And these great beasts, which are four, are the four kings which shall arise out of the earth." The four kings, the four kingdoms, the four powers, people with authority and shot callers. You know, you want to be a baller shot. Anyway, hey, verse 18. "But the saints of the Most High," and this is so beautiful, "shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever." The saints of the Most High, we're going to inherit the earth. We're going to inherit the power, the authority that that they are abusing right now. It was meant for righteous reign. I started this by saying that the Most High wants His will to be done here on earth. Now, the beast systems that have been allowed to rule since the fall of Adam was simply judgment against mankind. Since we fell into sin, then Satan was allowed a time frame to be able to manifest the opposition of the Most High's will, so that we can experience what it's like when we are outside of that. And let me tell you, it is ugly. I don't want no more of this. This is why we must repent. This is why we must pray that His will be done here on earth as it is in heaven. We got to get fed up with Babylon, the genetically modified foods. We got to get fed up with the, with the sin, the idolatry, the sickness, the violence, the war, the murder, the rape, the pedophilia, the animal abuse, all this stuff that they're doing. You know, it's sad. You know, some just kill for fun. They concoct and create wars for industrial boost, for economical boost. You know, when they create and manufacture conflict and wars, then guess what happens? Weapons productions and all this stuff start to flow, the currency. And so these are judgments that were allowed on the earth as a result of man falling out of the Most High's will. And so the four beasts that are being described here are four dispensations of kingdoms that will rule for long periods of time and have not just local sovereign power, but will have world or mass influence across the globe, across on every nation, creed, and tongue. And the conclusion of it is that the Most High saints, after we've repented, after we've come to the knowledge that Christ is the answer, after we've been made over in His image and His likeness, then and only then will we do what? Verse 18, the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever. And so verse 19 goes on and say, "And then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was different, diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth was of iron, whose nails was of brass, who devoured, breaking pieces, stamped the residue with his feet. And so he's saying this last Euro American Babylonian beast that is iron and clay mixed together, so to speak, technology and man, machinery. What is this? Because in Daniel days, they they had read about the days of Noah, but they hadn't really seen the manifestation of what it looked like when the fallen angel technology is manifested in the earth. Well, we see it. We're living through it. You know, we're living through it. So let's get the explanation. So verse 20 goes on and say, and of the 10 horns which were in his head, and of the others which came up before whom 3 fell, even that horn that had what? Eyes. We're talking about surveillance, eyes. Now, in Daniel's day, uh, he didn't understand, what satellite phone cameras and all this stuff that the enemy is using was. So the best way he could describe it was eyes, surveillance tools, instruments used to look, to spy upon, and a mouth speaking great words, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Not just mouth speaking great words, but we're talking V2K, voice to skull technology. We're talking, sentient AI that's capable of communicating with everyone in all languages. They were uh, advertising artificial intelligence that learned how to do sign language communication all by itself. These are the times that we live in. And so it goes on and say, and I beheld in the same horn made war. And I told you we're at war, but this, it says the same horn made war with the saints. They're not making war against evil people. They're making war against people who's here to make a difference. People who's here to make a positive impact in the lives of others. People who are here to manifest the will, the purpose of the Most High Yah. That's what the Antichrist is doing, and that's who he's warned against, and prevailed against them. To prevail, man, that means he's whooping our tail. He has whooped our tail. I don't know how many of you out there, if you're a true targeted individual, not a lot of these fake ones out here that just do it for clout or views or sympathy or whatever it is that they do it for, entertainment purposes. But if you're a true saint of the Most High, you're undergoing persecution for becoming more and more like Christ, because not because we're good, but because he chose us, because he loved us, and because he destined us for this purpose, then guess what? You can attest that the enemy has beaten you down. I've taken beat down after beat down after beat down for years, for over a decade worth of beat downs consistently, and probably longer than that if I think about it. But prevailed against them until, I like that word, because everything that has a beginning has an end. And it says, until the Ancient of Days, and we know we're talking about the Most High here, came, and judgment was given to the saints, the children of the Most High, the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the kingdoms, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse, that means different from all the kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it into pieces. Now, we know that, and this is not a racist video by any means, because the Most High can save whom he will. You know what I mean? So let's get that straight. I'm not in the judgment seat or anything like that. I'm just here as a more explaining, uh, allowing the Holy Spirit to explain and give you understanding of this truth. So he's saying in the last days, there's going to be a kingdom of power, a European Union that's going to go throughout the entire world around the 1400s and beyond. And every new place they go to, they're going to claim it. I claim this land in the name of Spain. I claim this land in the name of Portugal. I claim this land in the name of France, or whatever it is. And they're going to break it into pieces amongst themselves. So when you look at the globe, for those of you who are knowledgeable of history, world history, then you know that in current events, that the way that the European tongues got spreaded throughout the entire world was through conquering, breaking it into pieces. You go into Africa, some countries speak English, people speak Italian, the German, the Dutch, and the British had influences there in South Africa and other parts, and so forth. And you go to South America, here in North America, the islands, wherever uh, they were, guess what? This prophecy was fulfilled. They treaded it down through war, through might, which was, the prophecy, and they break it up in pieces amongst themselves. That means colonization. They colonized. Uh, and then it goes on to say not only did they colonize, but they tread it down and break it into pieces and stump the residue underneath his feet. And the other scripture verse, meaning slavery. Verse 25, and it says, uh, and the 10 horns out of the kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, meaning 10 kingdoms within the European Union. There's 10 major countries, and I could name them, but for time's sake, we're going to keep it moving. I just named several of them. You should be familiar with these 10 kings within that construct. That shall arise, and another shall arise after him, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. That means there's going to be another power that rise up after, and they're going to subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. Now, I'm just going to blow your minds real quick and give you my revelation on this particular subject. The little horn that rise up after the rest of them, guess what that is? That's your central bankers. You know what I mean? And there's one family, one bloodline family among them that is well, I'll digress because YouTube and the enemy is watching. Trust me, they watch this channel more than the righteous, I believe. But nonetheless, through debt, other kingdoms have been subdued. The U.S. is in debt to the federal banks, to, you know what I mean, to that small group, to that small horn, that small financial power that indebt and subdue and cast down by loaning money to countries, not just to people, but loan money to countries. And once countries get in debt, they can never get out. They become subject to the bar, which is the spiritual law. So they've subdued three kings, and I just gave you guys a vast nugget. You know, three of these major horns, they were cast down, and this is how it was done through central banking, the loaning of money to countries, and then countries can't get out of debt with the central banks. Verse 25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. You know what I mean? Revelations 2 and 9, you should go read it to get a better understanding of what I just read in that segment, and why the children of the Most High is being persecuted. Not just all believers, regardless of color and so forth, are being persecuted, but specifically in the context of the so-called black man and black woman, the true Israelites of the scripture. And I'm just giving you the truth, not to offend or not to be anti anything. You know what I mean? This is just factual truth. So, and think to change times and laws, and to change that, and they shall be given into his hands until times and the dividing of times. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to be consumed and to destroy it until the end. And the kingdom and the dominion of the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. And so this is where we're at. And this is why the enemy is going over and beyond in order to destroy. It says the enemy goes on a psychotic murder campaign when he realized his time is short. How many of you out there know that the enemy's time is short? And this is why we're experiencing these things. This is why there's the murder and the electromagnetic murder and the microwave murder and the brain zapping, you know, and so forth. So I'll close by reading this. This is one of the plots of the enemies. It says the FBI and the NSA, which are funded by the central bankers, they're in their pockets. These psychopaths are conducting these non-consensual, secret, sadistic, perverted, and psychopathic synthetic telepathy experiments, brain to computer interfacing. And I believe we had discussed that earlier. You know what I mean? I showed you guys how, even though I don't have time, it's no secret. It's been going on for a long time. And this is just an article from 2017. Elon Musk, Neuralink gets 27 million to build brain computers. So this is it goes on here to say brain machines brain machine interface hopes to connect human brains to computers and so forth. So this is what they've been doing, these experiments on people. And it's real, you guys. The Pentagon and the U.S. intelligence agency called the NSA, and then it goes through where I'm not going to read all of them, but the NSA, the DARPA, CIA, all these agencies, FBI's, uh, they have counterintelligence units, secret, clandestine, um, operative units, civilian warfare units. That means these people, they look like everyday citizens, but their job is to carry out these intelligence operatives. The counterintelligence program has extremely um, secretive technology that can pick up on the private thoughts by an individual. And this is through the artificial intelligence, once again, the cybernetic computer to brain uh, interfacers that do exist far beyond uh, the old EEGs, far beyond that. Thoughts given by an individual and the vibrations produced by the brain's electrical pulses. The thoughts can be broadcasted by means of microwave transceivers, infrasound, ultrasound transceivers, satellite, and other forms of electromagnetic transfer, such as technology, internet, Bluetooth, etc. Now, the Pentagon calls this mind reading technology synthetic telepathy, although there's nothing paranormal about it, which I beg to differ. There is something paranormal about it. This is demonic. This is fallen angel. There are spirits that are manifested in this earth, um, and many fallen angels that take on the form. Everybody's not human. There's many wicked humans out here, but you would have to be a fool to think that everyone's human. You know, nowadays we live in the twilight zone, people, and I want you to hear me before I finish reading the rest of this. You can walk outside today and try to help a little old lady across the street, and it turns out that that old lady is actually a fallen angel. Well, you know what? I'll simplify it. She could be a man like Caitlyn Jenner or Bruce Jenner or whatever uh, uh, with the Kardashians that was born a little boy and now is an old woman. These are the times, and it's coming. So if that is a truth that you understand and you can accept, then it shouldn't be hard to realize that everything ain't as it seems in this world. So we live in both spiritual and natural elements. We live here on this earth in both good and evil elements, both secret and known, light and darkness. All is coexistent until the Most High vanquished that opposition out of the way. So this is where we're at. You know, they have 3D printers. They are able and capable of manufacturing an entire human body in a bank tank. Homegrown, laboratory-grown human beings. And they don't even have to use stem cells anymore. The stem cell research that they used to use back in the days to clone mammals, far beyond that. We're in the age of quantum physics. And I'll digress to continue to read. It goes on to say, all right, the National Security Agency, which is the NSA, is part of um, the Department of Defense and a very secretive part of that, which means that if the NSA is watching you, then the Department of Defense is watching you. Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, their central hub is the NSA. A lot of people don't know that. but all of their surveillance come through the NSA. This is the importance of the NSA. And then, of course, DARPA is the weapons development portion of it. That's where you get the Holly Barton and the Lockheed Martins and so forth underneath the auspices of DARPA. But just trying to help you guys understand the elements of the U.S. That you don't know about. You know, these are highly classified things and organizations, and there's operations that exist against the people that you have no idea. And it's not for, I'm not telling you that everybody's wicked out of that. I'm just telling you that some wicked things have transpired. You would be a fool to believe that the assassinations of highly influential people that went against the New World Order powers that be, those that we don't know about, Bilderbergers, you know, Council of 300, Crown Corporation, CFR, all these groups, guess what? They were assassinated. And it was these secret compartments that carried out these ordeals. Surveillance aspect, which is the NSA, the military surveillance. Anytime you hear military surveillance, think NSA. That's their equipment. They're the tech geeks. They're all that. And guess what? Edward Snowden, who worked for them in 2013, he blew the whistle and he proved that they are spying on all of us. Now, the topic of discussion was that the wicked is secretly spying on and plotting against us. I know they're plotting against me. I would be a fool. I play dumb because it allows them to just scurry along and I can get whatever I want accomplished. But you best believe everything that I do, I know that Satan wants to destroy me. I know he wants me eliminated. I know he's always plotting. He's watching me right now. And they have surveillance satellites and things on me right now. I know this for a fact that they're in my device, that they are watching me like a hawk watching chicken. I can't leave my home without that, without them already preparing a convoy to travel along with me. And by the time I get to wherever I'm going, guess what? They've already plotted and planned and staged everything. Whenever I interact with someone, I interact with the back of the mind thought that this person has been infiltrated by the enemy. My goal is to see what is the purpose of the enemy in this situation. What do they want? And you have to think the same. It says you have to be wise as those serpents, still harmless as a dove. A dove, guess what? It'll act like it don't even see you. But get close enough to try to catch one of it, it'll be gone because it was watching you the whole time. It was just playing ignorant. It was bouncing around, eating its food, getting whatever it needed. But the moment that you cross the threshold that signal possible threat, it took flight faster than your eyes could blink. But getting back to the informatory. So the NSA, which we now know is Department of Defense, that's Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guards, you know, is the NSA also has a black budget and is always headed by a flag officer from one of the U.S. branches of military. They have top secret technologies that are available to them and only them. And these U.S. military technologies are usually 30 to 40 years more advanced and ahead of that available to the US civilian population. So if you have smartphones, iPhones, internet, smart TVs, imagine what it's going to be like 30 and 40 years from now. That's what they have. It already exists. You just don't get it because there's something called regulatories, right? So in order for, we had a former um, military personnel come on and do an interview a while back. And they explained it well. They articulated it well. The reason why the military has more advanced equipment and the government has more advanced equipment to regulate against the people, right? If the people had the same thing that the government had, then the government couldn't subject them, right? They couldn't squash a mutiny or whatever the case may be. But when they go into their arsenal, they can hit you with things that you've never heard of, like directed energy weapons. The reason why you don't know it exists, because you're not in the know. You're not in that circle, that arena. But there are people that do know, and they keep their mouths closed. Trust me. A lot of people that know. So if you're a fool or you're a skeptic and you're just, you know, an ignorant person can appear to be wise if they just keep their mouth closed. So if you don't know, don't deny this. Just know that it exists. Moving on. So, who is to know among the general U.S. population what levels of technologies are in the secret laboratories of NSA and DARPA, that is the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, whose headquarters are in Fort Meade, Maryland, the U.S. state of Fort Meade, Maryland. I've been through there. They've dispatched me there so many times I can't tell you. Weirdos, man. But digressing, uh, today there are microscopic computer chips based on nanotechnology, which can be inserted into a person by means of injection. That means nanotechnology, biotech, going back to being able to connect the human body to computers. It can be done through injections. Not only do they can they connect you wirelessly to the cybernetic computer to brain interface technology, but they also can cyberform your biosphere, the human body. As a matter of fact, in 2020, there was mass uh, bioform, techno bioform, the introduction of, and I'm not going to say the word, but the introduction of biotech or nano based technology into the human body that interact with the uh, messenger RNA, ribonucleic acid, to make the human body um, compatible with supercomputers. That means now, um, from a remote location, they're able to type into everyone who has the biotech into their body, and they can tell you what's going on, your heart rate, your blood pressure. Uh, Basically, you're an avatar. You know what I mean? You're an avatar. Not only can they do that, that RNA messenger, they can download, delete information from what makes you you. And I'm just giving you the basics, not getting into the more complex uh, understandings of this subject. Just understand that your uh, body is made up of really small elements, atoms. Beyond atoms, there's atomic particles or whatever, but what um, makes you you as a person is all stored in your DNA. That information of you is stored in your DNA, the ribonucleic acid. Now, they've injected things into many of your bodies that um, allows them to use these super advanced quantum computers to be able to communicate with your human being. They're playing God. Remember, this is Satan's ultimate goal. The Satans, the evil ones that operate in secret, they've always, since Genesis chapter 3, wanted to play God. You know what I mean? So I'll digress from that because I know this video will probably get taken down if I go any deeper. But microscopic computer chips based on nanotechnology, which can be used, that can be inserted into person by injection, tooth filling, with or without the doctor or pharmacist knowledge. These computer chips, nanotechnology, can track the implanted or injected person by means of micro electro communication, right? This is what they're doing. This is how, this is the new concept of national security. We need to be able to track every human being on the planet. How do you think they know where you're at? As a targeted individual, come on. There's the spiritual element of it because you do have monitoring spirits. And then there's also the techno-spiritual element of it, where they're testing out technologies through the National Defense Authorization Act. And you can look that up. What is the NDAA? And pull it up, download the PDF form and read through it. It'll take you a while because it's probably about 100 pages. You know what I mean? It's not going to, I'll take that back. It ain't going to take you that long because once you start reading it, you're going to be like, what the heck is going on? They have passed authorizations to throw anyone who they secretly suspect could be a terrorist or a threat to national security or community safety on a watch list, and they're authorizing themselves to circumvent your Sixth and Fifth Amendment due process and subject you to non-consensual human experimentations for national security purposes, which means you're the guinea pig. If they inject you with these nanotechnologies, which terraform or cyberform, should I say, your biosphere, your body, your temple. This is called the desolation. When they desecrate the temple, man, I'm going deep. I'm giving y'all some heavy stuff. You want to know what the desolation and the desecration of the temple is? When the enemy comes in and he mixes the iron with the clay, when he mixes the technology with the human being, and it's already been done. We're so close in these end times, you guys have no idea. You're waiting on something. You're waiting on a movie to transpire in your life, and it's already occurring. If you don't know, this is the Truman Show, from the political campaigns all the way down to those neighbors you think you know, then I don't know what to tell you. This is just the reality of it. So, yeah, you've already been injected. I'm just the messenger. Digressing once again to finish this up. All right, so these sadistic telepathy espionage trainees, which are what we call gang stalkers. These are the CIA, DARPA's, the whole nine yard. these psychopaths, these sociopaths, these sadomasochistic torturers, that slanderers, experimentators, spies, um, they deliberately avoid building a personal relationship with you by seeing you as a node on their computer screen. Literally, if you see them there with their phones, you're just an experiment in their eyes. And I'm going to digress from this because my phone is glitching, which means that apparently I've said something that has cued off some warnings of the alphabet boys, which if you're in the building, um, you're welcome to come on too, man. This is sick. Alphabet community loves to watch me, but it is what it is. We're in the age of secret spying and plots to destroy people's lives. And the enemy has technology in his bag. He has artificial intelligence in his bag. And this is the beginning of the end, especially for the words of Christ is that woe to those that is with suckling and child, meaning that for the children, when they're born, if your child is born at a major hospital, then guess what? The moment that that child is out of the eyes of the mother, the father, that child is being injected and experimented on from the time it exits its mother's cervical, or whatever you want to call that. You know what I mean? From the time it leaves its mother's womb, that baby is quickly wrapped up, taken off somewhere, injected, hooked to a supercomputer, and you're wondering why your child is the exorcist. Why come these children nowadays are transforming themselves at the ages of 2 and 3? Why come they're passing legislations that your child's birth certificate is not going to contain the child's gender, because when the child gets old enough for the technology to kick in, that child will choose to become something other than what it was born to be. And you still don't get it. So-called believers, so-called people who are woke, you're still asleep in the matrix. It's already happening. It's already happening, and it's been happening. It's just evolved into its final state. I was watching a movie. I'm not going to say the name of the movie, because I don't want them to. But anyway, in this movie, I'll describe the movie. Maybe some of you guys have seen it. It's about a geeky guy who ends up having a secret fantasy about being a superhero, whatever the case may be. He's a lonely geek, has two friends, or whatever the case may be. And so he orders like a costume. He puts on the costume and he wants to play hero. Well, he gets beat up and pretty bad by some thugs trying to play the hero. And the only thing he has is like some batons, and he goes out there to prevent them from thieving a car and so forth. But he ended up getting stabbed, and he ended up getting hit by a car and so forth. Well, throughout the storyline of this movie, there's this little girl who, so-called little girl, who plays a hero. And if you don't watch it, the little girl is actually a little boy who's been transformed into a little girl. And some people might be offended. That's the reason why I didn't say the name of the movie. But they are in Hollywood. Hollywood, you call it Hollywood. I call it Holly Weirdo. They are turning your little boys to girls. That's how the parents who want to have prominence and wealth and fame, Satan, he has no new tricks. He takes them up to the high mountain and say, hey, you got to bow down. You know what I mean? You got to bow down and worship. You got to bow down and get down with the get down. And oftentimes, parents, whether through duress or through greed or just their old evil intent, they sacrifice their children over to Molech, to the industry. And when these kids get in there, they're raped, they're molested by 6 sadistic entities that want to fulfill their own selfish lust. And they turn the little boys into girls, and they get and they turn the you know what I mean, vice versa. They turn them into anything. And these people are messed up. That's why come when you see those that have a partook of they've partook of Satan's delicacies. They're all messed up. All of them messed up. They're on drugs, or either they're like Kurt Cobain, where they just end their life because they're so unhappy. They find out that the grass that looks greener on the other side that Satan is showing them isn't worth anything. As a matter of fact, it's astroturf. It's not even real. That's why come it looks so green. Fake gold glitters. Fool's gold glitter more than the real thing. It looks shinier, but it ain't worth nothing. And that's what they find out. This is where we are. Hey, you guys, I'm going to, I said I was going to post the link, but I don't see anyone in the live stream. Anyone wants to join the live chat, put a 1 in the chat and I will post the link. If you want to come on and you want to discuss these things that are happening in the world, I'll give you guys some time. And once again, we're talking about how the enemy is spying on the children of the Most High, how the enemy has transhumanized humanity, how the enemy is doing the most in order to destroy humanity. You guys, if you want to join in on the live stream, then put a 1 in the chat. Let me let him out because he's going to keep doing it. Man, this dog is more part of the live. Hey, stupid dog just took my sock outside. Anyway, you guys, I do apologize about the distraction. All right, so the more of the story is, although the enemy is watching us, the Most High, I believe it's Proverbs chapter 15, verse 3. It says we're going to go here real quick because I keep talking about the enemy and how he's surveillancing and stuff. But for the righteous, you need hope. You need to know that our Yah is more powerful than the enemy could ever be. And so I'm going to go to the book of Proverbs chapter 15 real quick. And I'm going to read one verse, and it's verse 3. And it says, the eyes, the surveillance of the Most High are in every place, beholding what? The evil and the good. Beholding the evil and the good. And that's Proverbs chapter 15, verse 3. So while they're watching us, our Father, our Heavenly Father is watching them. Every wicked deed, Everything that they're doing, the Most High sees. The stuff that we don't know about, guess what? Your boy MT, I don't want to see it. You think I want to see the stuff that have happened on Epstein's Island, where they have literally um, taken these underage children and raped them to death? You think I want to see that? No, I don't. Where they have gone over to Bahamian Grove and Area 51 and different other locations, and they have done things beyond our imagination. Like the stuff that we could think, like the most wicked thing we could possibly think of, they have gone far beyond that. I can't even think that wicked, and guess what? I don't even want to know about it. That would be a mental scar that you would never overcome, even if you were aware of it. There's a book that I suggest you guys all get. Um, it's called Formation of America. It's the true story and testimonials of a victim of the CIA's MK Ultra program. And the things that were disclosed in that book, Formation of America, would just blow your mind, sick to the core. And the names that were disclosed, from governors to senators to even presidents, Central Intelligence and federal operatives, it'll just blow your mind. People that we hold in high regard, you know, it'll blow your mind. Human sacrifice is nothing for them. Human experimentation is nothing for them. They do that for fun. They do that for fun. They even have a sick part where basically one of the victims talks about how they go to the abortion clinic and they preserve all the tiny embryos. And guess what? They eat them out of a bowl like Cheerios. Pour up those tiny little, when a embryo is born, I mean, they're really, really tiny, real small, tiny babies. They bake those babies, season those embryo babies that these women who decide that they're not ready to be a mother. And there's a ritual where it's considered part of their delicacy. This is how sick the opposition is, those that are watching us. You know what I mean? And once again, to conclude it, the reason why the enemy is watching is to prevent your purpose from manifesting on the earth. Not your purpose. Let me take that back. The Most High's purpose through you. That's what they're trying to prevent. You know, the prayer that we should all know, that Christ taught us to pray. He said, Father, let your will be done here on earth, because it's not being done. The satanic will is currently being carried out in Babylon. But his will be done on earth as it is in his spiritual kingdom. That's what we was created for. That's why he formed us and made us who we are, is so that each and every last one of us can take our unique talents, gifts, and abilities and makeup. Nobody's like you, not even a clone. They're not like you. They may be a copy. They may look like you, but there's only one you, because there's only one soul and spirit. That is the true you. And that soul, your soul, the real you, has been gifted, talented, and empowered with purpose to be manifested here on the earth. And the enemy is watching, surveillancing, plotting in secret, and strategizing to prevent and stop that. That's the whole conclusion. And so, what is the solution? The solution is going back to the book of Psalms. I'm not going to read it for time's sake, because I'm going to close out because no one's responding. It's he that dwelleth in the secret place shall abide underneath the protection of the Almighty Yah. If you're dwelling in the Most High's will, if you're walking in purpose, in humility and submission, if you're in constant repentance, then guess what? The enemy can't get to you. You have a Job-like hedge of protection around you. Not saying that you won't feel the heat from the fire he's setting outside of your perimeters to consume you. Not saying you won't get singed or whatever the case may be, but you will not be destroyed. To be in Christ is to be in the safest place in the whole wide world. Till next time, you guys continue to stay woke. Continue to keep your boy MT in prayer, as I myself, as you all know, have been going through, continue to go through, and will endure into the end. Yeah, that's the goal, is for us to endure to the end. I want you to endure. Continue to pray for me. I will continue to pray for every last one of you. Every last one of you. I don't mention you individually because I don't know you guys individually, but every last one of you, I pray that the Most High's protection goes forth on your life. His healing goes forth on your life. That blessings and prosperity be manifested in your life to fulfill his purpose. As you get to, I pray after this live stream that you get to know your purpose, because most people go, what am I here for? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't feel meaningful. So I wake up every single morning just to survive, but I don't feel like I'm thriving. So I pray that the Most High show you your purpose here on earth, that you begin to manifest it here on the earth, that his will be done in your life as it's already been done. It's already done. The victory is already ours in heavenly places. And till next time, you guys, stay woke, stay in the word. Don't be deceived by the enemy. Keep your eyes on Christ and you will be blessed. Your boy, MTAC, as always, has got to be his out.